I'm Wayne Carini, it's Emilia on Concord, and thanks for watching Drivin Ivan.
Drivin Ivan here, and behind me, you know what it is. You've seen the movie Back to the Future. It's a DeLorean, specifically the DMC-12. I, of course, am going to talk a little bit about Back to the Future, but I'm also going to tell you what it's like to drive the DeLorean and get an owner's perspective too. Smash that like button and subscribe, and buy me a coffee if you like the content. Let's get going with the DeLorean. Okay, there it is, the DeLorean. What do you think of it? Even if it wasn't in the movie Back to the Future, you'd think it was cool. The Gullwing Doors, which I'll show you in a second, yeah, that's all part of it. But guess who styled it? The very famous Giorgetto Giugiaro. That's right, of Italian fame. Think Lotus Esprit and that sort of thing. Beautiful cars. Search any car in Drivin Ivan, by the way. I have one of those. But anyway, yes, the Gullwing Doors really made it pop. But just look at the shape anyway. And also, notice the body. It's stainless steel. And it's not all stainless steel. It's actually fiberglass in the middle for a bit more rigidity. But look at this. How cool is it? Almost like if you took your Scirocco and flattened it out a bit. Made it a little more angular. But such a cool shape. I mean, how can you not fall in love with this thing? And again, even if you didn't know this car from the movies, everybody loves it from Back to the Future. The funny thing about it is, well, I'll show you on the interior, something very funny about 88 miles an hour and what they had to travel in time. But just really look at the shape. It's so cool. All right, let's see how the doors open there, because that's what you want to see. Look, they're just a thing of glorious beauty. Whoop. There you go. You see? They're up there. And then, of course, it's easy to get in and out. I'll do the interior in a second, but I just wanted to show you. And they've got a pull handle. And then the owner tells me that you press right here, because that's where the door's weighted. And there you go. But yes, stainless steel certainly, but also fiberglass, and that's pretty cool. So there you go, nice historic tags there. Looks like a lot of Italian classics from back in the day from this angle. Maybe a Lamborghini Scirocco. Watch my interview with Valentino Balboni at the factory. But that's a cool little video. But yes, this thing is exotic. Love the wheels, they just look great. Not too dissimilar from like maybe an Alpina wheel. I've reviewed a couple Alpinas, including my B7 Alpina, BMW, and also the B10, but and a 2002 Alpina, actually. I love Alpina wheels, and I think these look similar, and that's probably why I like them. Another very interesting sort of design feature is that is the only part of the window that opens, so that's kind of interesting, but a little better than the Countach. I did review the Countach, I tell you the truth about driving the Countach, and that car is iconic, and you know what? This DeLorean is equally as iconic, I think. What do you guys think? Yeah, like I said, even without the movie, I think everybody would think this car is cool, but we're going to soon find out what it's like to drive, and that is the exciting part. I've actually never driven a DeLorean, and I'm kind of fired up about it. Okay, so I'm going to hop in. You got to watch your head, and you got to watch your head when you get out, too. I almost bonked my head getting out of the passenger seat on the way over here. Wow, you really slide in, and then you kind of pull this down, and, well, you're stuck. There you are in your DeLorean. Super cool, right? This is the funny thing about it, though. You got to get to 88 miles an hour to time travel, except you can't because the speedometer only goes up to 85. Isn't that crazy? Oh, my God. So funny. This one has 47,564 miles, looks like. All your normal gauges that you'd expect. Temperature. And you got a voltmeter there, too. That's pretty nice. They just look so pedestrian, right? These are just kind of normal gauges from the time, and you know, maybe you expect a digital readout and things like that, like you'd see in the movies. No, just the normal gauges here and everything you need to see. Some idiot lights there on the side also. Always good to have those. But yeah, just a very normal gauge cluster for 1981. That is what year this is. That's actually a retro radio. You got your air conditioning and heat there. Well, it looks like all the options were not ordered. These are blank, but these are the power windows here, these two. And then you have a defrost there. So that's pretty cool. I was expecting maybe I'd find a little bit of storage in here, but nope. Engine's back there, and that's all you get. A couple of cup holders back here. And look, you got some rear deck storage there. That's nice. There is a frunk, and we'll show you that in a second. But yeah, of course, can't have a sunroof because you got your Gullwing doors. The owner installed this nice little bit of kit here, and it's got a rear view camera. Probably one of the few DeLoreans that has one. It's got a real glove box. See, it's a real glove box. How about that? And plenty of foot room here, like those strappy handles. You need those in this car, but they're pretty plush seats actually, and pretty plush on the door cards too. It's actually pretty luxurious and very, very sporty for 1981. What do you think? The annoying handbrake on the side here, and again your 5-speed with reverse shifter there. So yeah, you put 25 cents in and you can play your favorite, or just play some pinball or something. I love pinball. There's the cigarette lighter / charger. Always good to have one of those. And if you want to get out, you just pull up and there you go. You're free to go. Let's see, is it easy to get out? It's never easy to get out of a car like this, let me tell you. Let's go look at the engine, shall we? So two people have already stopped. This great army man stopped, and another car just drove by and rolled down their window and said, wow, great car. This thing does attract a lot of attention, trust me. There it is, the DeLorean power plant. Originally, it would have had 130 horsepower, 153 pound-feet of torque. It's a 2.85 liter Renault and Peugeot and Volvo engine, made it to a Renault gearbox, 5 speeds in reverse, as I said before. 0 to 60 in about 10 seconds, and that's onto a top speed of 110 to 130 miles per hour. I don't know why there's a 20 mile per hour spread. Maybe someone can leave me a comment below. Maybe they just don't know because the speedometer only goes to 85. Haha. 22 miles per gallon overall. This one's been modified with the new DMC Stage 2. So it's got better cams and pistons and things like that. Plus the very, very cool exhaust there has been done. So it is actually getting about 210 horsepower, and I would think more torque too. But there you go. That is the DeLorean's power plant, and look at it with the doors up. Doesn't it look awesome? Yeah, it does. I'll just show you the frunk, and then I'll hop in and drive it. It really does look awesome with the doors up, doesn't it? Let me just go around front and show you. Okay, and now I am going to show you the frunk. Look at this. And by the way, this is where you put in your gas. Out of time, you need that, right? Don't you? Of course you need an out of time license plate in there. But look, you can definitely go on a weekend vacation with your significant other in your DeLorean, can't you? Of course you can. Nice little frunk, right? Very, very cool. All right, time to get in and drive. Have you smashed that like button and subscribed yet? I hope you have. Okay, first initial driving impressions in the DeLorean. Well, reverse, you pull up and then it's back. It's awful hard to get, actually, at first try. But as I actually settle in in the DeLorean, it's actually a little easier to drive than I thought it would be. The clutch, the owner says he's working on the pedal effort, but you know, I've driven a lot of different cars, and compared to like a Countach or some other pretty tough car to drive, like a Lancia Thema Turbo that I drove in Ireland, this one is actually pretty light, and I would say pretty darn easy to drive, actually. So that's the first surprise with the DeLorean. It just feels like maybe a sports car from not even the early 80s. I would say later in the 80s. It feels a little more advanced than an early 80s sports car. That's because a lot of engineering went into this car. And guess who those engineers were? Some of the best in the business. Lotus. Lotus designed the chassis and the suspension. So you know, if Lotus does it, it's right. I have a Lotus Europa that I just got on the road. Again, search any car in Drivin Ivan and you shall find my reviews. But I also have an Esprit. I reviewed the Evora. But people go to Lotus when they want excellent suspension, and that was the same in the 80s, and that's what John DeLorean did. Now, John DeLorean, what about him? Well, of course, he was a very successful guy, a big wig at GM, who basically invented the muscle car in many ways. He came out with the GTO and the Grand Prix, and he wanted to make his own car, and that requires a lot of money. So he was going to go to Puerto Rico and make it, actually, but the British government offered him $120 million in subsidies and such to build it in Ireland, because in Ireland at the time, the Troubles were going on. And well, we won't get into politics, but just Northern Ireland was a bit difficult at the time. There was a lot of really bad things going on. It's called the Troubles now. I don't know if it was called the Troubles back then, but listen to the song Zombie by the Cranberries. In fact, if you want to listen to songs, I do a lot of rock videos too. I just posted Paranoid by Black Sabbath, Stairway to Heaven, Hotel California, Maggie May, Purple Haze. I play all the instruments on those, so I hope you'll watch those. But yes, the Cranberries, may Dolores rest in peace. What a great band. Listen to the song Zombie, and that will give you more background story. But anyway, they wanted to create jobs in Northern Ireland, and that's what they did. They built this car there, and the rest is really history. What did they build after they built this car in Northern Ireland? Well, it's an interesting story, actually. They built basically an armored vehicle that they used. So nothing you would ever heard of, and it was not sold publicly. But that's the story of John DeLorean. Of course, there's that whole cocaine thing and the crime thing, but he was acquitted. And of course, you can Google all that for more of that story. But he was, you know, a very passionate man. And I think he didn't really realize how difficult it was to build a car and make it successful. But this car is definitely sought after and loved. So they stopped production in 1982, and they were supposed to build like 20,000 cars, I think. Very ambitious. They only built like 10,000. But 3 years later, in 1985, a little movie came out called Back to the Future. And they were going to use a different car for that movie too, but they chose the DeLorean ultimately. And wow, what an icon it has made this car. Absolutely incredible that they used this car, and that it's just the people, just in the time we were shooting the exteriors of this car review and such, I would say 3, 4, 5 people drove by and actually stopped and said something too. This is your favorite car of all time? That is the effect of the DeLorean. I guess I haven't seen anything like it since I reviewed the Countach, Lamborghini Countach. Do watch that video, The Truth About Driving the Countach, and also watch my interview with Valentino Balboni at the Lamborghini factory in 1999. That's a pretty cool video. Just search any car in Drivin Ivan. And have you smashed that like button and subscribed yet? I sure hope you have. And now I guess we should talk about an owner's perspective of this car. And it's kind of interesting because the owner of this car, his name is Doug, and he has a little podcast called To All the Cars I Have Loved Before. and he's had this car for 3 years. He actually featured me on his podcast, mostly talked about one of my cars, the Porsche 928, but we talked about a lot of cars, and that's what he does. So, okay, Doug, what is it like to own the DeLorean?
First thing I would warn anybody, if you don't like attention, do not buy a DeLorean, because you will get more attention than a Ferrari, than a Lamborghini, than a Lotus Europa.
Oh, come on.
It's true.
What about a pink Citroen CX? No way.
Yep.
About equal, maybe.
You'll get more attention.
He's right. People do love this car. And, you know, they grew up with this car. They saw the movie, and they love this car. They love it. It's absolutely insane. Woo-hoo-hoo. Checking out the handling. All right, so what have you had to do to it? Tell people the real ownership experience, Doug.
Where do I start? Had to get a new alternator, new belts, transmission rebuild. The list is long. Had the dash refurbished, had to reinstall that. That was a lot of fun. All new LEDs. So every light in the car minus one is LED inside and out.
That's nice.
Yeah. Put in a retro stereo. I still have the original, which is supposedly worth quite a bit of money.
Cool, very
cool. Now I've got a retro sound stereo. Added power steering, electric power steering, which made my life so much better. If you've ever owned a car, even though the engine's in the back, it's still pretty heavy to drive around, especially park, make turns, etc.
All right, so to all the cars I've loved before, that is the podcast, and you actually had me on it. How did you find me, and how did that come to be?
Yeah, that was a great fun story. I found you on YouTube. I think I noticed you from some Cars and Coffee events at Katie's Cars and Coffee in Northern Virginia, and hit you up via email, and we connected. And then every time you were gonna test drive my car, it was in the shop or at somebody else's house being repaired or inoperable because of something I did. But here we are in early December, and we're finally making it happen. So super excited.
All right, now I think it's time to get it out on the road and try to go back to the future by going 88 miles an hour. Is that okay, Doug?
Speedometer goes to 85, and I don't think I've ever been over
not possible.
70.
He doesn't drive like Drivin Ivan. He's a little bit tamer. So I'm gonna tell you about the handling of this car. Let's get into some twisties for a second. All right, the roads are getting twisty. Should we see what Lotus built in for the handling? No, because we got a red light, of course. Come on, there we go. There, the gods of the twisty roads are at least listening to me a little bit. Where are they? 0 to 60 in 10 seconds was not fast, but again, this car has been tweaked and upgraded, so it actually feels, you know, again, I'm thinking about 1981, so to me, it actually feels quick enough, but it's certainly a lot quicker than it was. I mean, my Prius is faster than 0 to 60 in 10 seconds. Yes, I have a video called "Is the Prius the Best Car in the World?" You'll have to watch that one. But I've got a lot of weird cars, so I like to have at least one reliable car. And as we push out into the country roads here, yeah, I'm really happy and kind of just surprised and impressed with the way the DeLorean drives. I was just expecting it, honestly, to be a total dog, and it's not. You know, you can take the corners a bit, and again, you know, Lotus is a company that specializes in chassis design, and yeah, it's a little quicker than I thought it would be, and it strikes the right balance between a little sporty handling and also comfort and luxury as well. That's what it does. Very surprising. Nice job, DeLorean and Lotus. So, the shifter. The throws are, I would say for that era, they're pretty short for 1981. A little notchy, but good feel. I like the actual shifter itself. Almost like an 8-ball shifter. They should have just a number 8 there. No, you need to know what you're doing. But pretty good shifter, actually. What about the clutch? Well, The clutch has a small travel, actually. Owner thinks it's a heavy effort, but I don't really find it all that heavy. Nicely spaced, I'd say. And again, the seats are very, very plush and comfortable, I think. This is the easiest way to put it in reverse, by the way. Look at the rear vision is pretty good in this car. It's not bad at all. But yeah, just coasting to put it in reverse because it's easier than actually putting it in reverse. No, I'm just making it up. It's really not that hard. Woo-hoo-hoo. Yeah, that's more than the stock, I'll tell you. Yeah. Get it, DeLorean Stage 2 DMC. By the way, you can still get yourself a DeLorean. You can get all the parts. A guy named Steve Wynn bought the company. And you can actually get a brand new DeLorean, too, if you want one. And these were, believe it or not, these were $25,000 in the early 80s. And a Corvette was about 15, 16. So that tells you they were expensive. These were expensive cars back then. And now they're worth anywhere from a beater to like 25, all the way up to, I'd say, $65,000, $75,000. And some have sold over $100,000. So they're a little pricey right now, but man, people just seem to love this car everywhere you go. And, well, I'm going to try to get it to 88 miles an hour. Here we go. We're going to go back to the future. Here we go. There you have it, the DeLorean DMC. I am impressed. It's better than I thought it would be to drive, and people love this car everywhere you go. What a wonderful car. Only 2,800 pounds, too. How about that? Pretty light with the stainless steel and fiberglass body. So there you go. Search any car and Drivin Ivan. And do watch my Beatles in London and Liverpool. Also, my Jim Morrison's Life and Death in Paris. Jimi Hendrix's Life and Death of Lady Friends in London. Watch all my disc golf videos. Definitely watch Doug's To All the Cars I Have Loved Before podcast. And watch me on it too. That's an interesting episode, right? Anywhere where you can see your podcast. Check out my guitar reviews. Also, my INK video on YouTube is just me playing acoustic songs. And INK video on TikTok is basically a lot of very cool, interesting videos. I am the real Drivin Ivan on TikTok also, and of course Drivin Ivan Cats here and Drivin Ivan Cats on Instagram. I hope you will definitely subscribe, and I hope you've enjoyed this content. If you do, please buy me a coffee, link below, and again, smash that like button and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching in the DMC DeLorean. I am Drivin Ivan. Isn't that fun? Of course it is.